It's the Squad Show where we take over the feed of your favorite Locked On show. Today we're talking about this Kawhi Leonard story because I don't know what Steve Ballmer did. I don't know if it's all connected, but if it is, big trouble for the Clippers and the NBA in general. Not everybody's buying it though. We'll talk about why today. Welcome into the Locked On NBA Squad Show. My name is Nick Angstead. This is where we take over the feed of your favorite Locked On show. It's an open invite for any host to join and talk about anything they want in the NBA. Literally anything they want. I got Rylan Stiles from Locked On Thunder, Philip Rossman-Reich, Locked On Magic, Ryan Blackburn, Locked On Nuggets, myself from Locked On Mavs. We're going to talk about probably a whole bunch of things today. But gentlemen, let's start with this today. The Kawhi Leonard story is one of the most interesting, could be massive blow up in your face story that I've seen in a long time. Let's start with this first, because I asked this on Locked On NBA Daily today of Wes and Hayes, but I'll ask you guys too. Who do you believe? Do you believe the Clippers, that this was nothing, and the Clippers don't have anything to do with this aspiration company that is giving money to Kawhi Leonard and was maybe funneled by Steve Ballmer? Or do you believe that Pablo Torre is right and that Kawhi was getting payments under the table? That's basically the question we're answering right now.
Hey, Pablo Torre is right more often than he's wrong at this point. He is a legitimate reporter, and he has been doing a lot of great digging over the course of these last few years. And especially over Pablo Torre finds out, that dude has been on one. And it's just really impressive to see something like this pop up and out of the woodwork and know that, stuff like this, especially when you have to consider, so many of these contracts help you raise some eyebrows. Why was he so vociferous about going to the Clippers and really locked in there? What are some motivations that some of these guys have? That there's motivation written on the wall right there. 4 years, $28 million off the books.
Because the time when he made the decision, wasn't he deciding between the Lakers and the Clippers? It was this big thing. He was supposed to be part of the big three with LeBron and AD. And then all of a sudden we were like, wait, it's the Clippers? And he's going to go with Paul George? And you're like, man, what changed his mind on this? Rylan, is this what changed his mind?
I mean, they've always said Paul George changed his mind. I don't know if now it's Paul George or the trees, but you can also have a lot of trees in LA, not just in the ground. I think that when you look at this situation, though, I'm not discounting Pablo's reporting. I think that Pablo found out the right information. I don't know how much legal action the NBA is going to be able to take on circumventing the cap, just because it feels like, let he who lives in a glass house throw the first stone or whatever. These things probably do happen across the league that we just don't know about. And it's why you've seen Mark Cuban already jump out in front of the moving train to defend the Clippers. And Kawhi, of all people, has someone who we outwardly know he trusts with his family and with his representation. If you were really trying to circumvent the cap as an excellent businessman that Steve Ballmer is, why wouldn't you just give the money to his uncle? And his uncle's a part of this Activision tree planting ordeal, and it's never going to get tied back to Kawhi. But then furthermore, if this was your whole shtick, why did you let this company go bankrupt? And then now you have to release all of the different names that are on those documents. You would likely shuffle money to him under the table in a more safe way where you don't have to worry about this stuff ever coming out because the company goes bankrupt and messes over, the Clippers included. So it's just very weird. Again, I think the reporting is accurate. I don't know that the objective, though, of this whole tree situation was to circumvent the salary cap.
Yeah, I think Rylan's point is really true here, is that this happens a lot more around the league than people probably realize. There were stories, I think, back in the 80s and even early 90s where the Lakers were trying to give Magic Johnson some equity in the Lakers and make him a part owner while he was a player, or make a promise to make him a part owner before he retired. And the NBA put the kibosh on that. I remember growing up, the Magic give out a prize to their community enrichment award. They give out $25,000 to whoever wins that award. The NBA tried to ding them for doing that, saying that was a circumvention of the cap, that they were giving extra money to players. So I feel like this happens a lot more around the league than we think. What I think stood out about this is the amount is just so excessive. It feels like it's a second salary. And that's where I think something doesn't smell right. I don't know if there's a bad party here. There's been stories about Kawhi's family trying to push him to different places, pushed him out of San Antonio, probably pushed him back to LA. I'm not going to sit here and say Kawhi doesn't drive the ship, but there's been thoughts in the past that Kawhi isn't always kind of making the lead decisions on his career at times. He just wants to go out and hoop maybe. But it does feel like there's something fishy here, or something that isn't normal in this ecosystem of guys getting a little bit extra money for their charities or for whatever.
I'm assuming if you at home are listening to this show, an NBA squad show in the middle of this deep offseason, you know this story. But just to be fair to everybody, Pablo Torre uncovered this story. He says Kawhi Leonard signed a $28 million endorsement deal for a no-show job with a fraudulent tree planting company called Aspiration, which we'll reference several times, probably in jest. Funded by $50 million from the Clippers owner Steve Ballmer, according to documents obtained by Pablo. And an inside source says it was to circumvent the salary cap. Then the Clippers made their statement, and the Clippers said that they have nothing to do with this. Neither Mr. Ballmer nor the Clippers circumvented the salary cap or engaged in any misconduct related to Aspiration. Any contrary assertion is provably false. So they say not next to. They didn't have anything to do with Aspiration. So they could have done it in different ways. Is what this statement is leaving the door open for right now.
It's just kind of funny though that like. All right, so 4 years, 28 million. Like, okay, so why did Aspiration give him that money? Like, what is this actually then, if not that? I think is a fair question, because he didn't and this is what Pablo was talking about in his episode. He did not do any promotional work for Aspiration or the tree planting that they're doing and trying to turn something in that was supposed to be good. They went bankrupt. And I don't know the full story behind that. And I know that there's a lot of other people that are still trying to catch up on this too. But
the full story is he was a consultant. He was like an Apple tree consultant, because isn't he a big Apple guy? Wasn't that?
Yeah, great. Yeah.
That's a deep cut. You remember the Kawhi Apple story?
Apple time. And not the technology.
Apple time.
Poor man gets paid.
But I just think that there is ways for the Clippers to cover themselves. So like you can push this off as like, well, yeah, he didn't do any promotion, but they never asked him to. I mean, they should have activated his services with putting stuff out. It's no different than perhaps a guy getting signed to a low scale shoe deal, and he's not in the commercials. He's not having his own signature shoe, but he is a shoe athlete for that company.
And he's not getting $28 million either.
That is true. I mean, listen, this is not clearly 100% above board. I just think that there's so many different avenues for the Clippers to face the bare minimum punishment, which seems to be maybe forfeiting a pick, which the Clippers, they just love giving them away. So what's the difference there?
Do you think the Thunder get the pick if they have to give it away?
I mean, I think that they should. I think that they should.
Generally, all
the pipeline's already open. They must just keep going.
I think the punishment for Ballmer should be that, because remember he bragged about how many urinals were in that building. They should have to go down to league average. They should have to shut off all the extra ones. League average urinals in the Intuit Dome. That is the start of the punishment.
Welcome in, Danny Cunningham, Locked On Cavs. Incredible.
Thank you for having
me. They could start on the All-Star game, by the way, that they're hosting in 2026.
That ultimately makes the fans pay. This isn't.
Well, yeah, I mean,
we don't take things away from them.
I think they should make them move to Vegas. Like the Clippers move to Vegas, and then the new LA team is the expansion team. They get to take over the Intuit Dome. That should be the punishment.
That's a punishment for Vegas too, though. Like Vegas inherits a couple of teams that nobody cares about, like the A's and the Clippers get to go over there, and
that's where they send the teams. It doesn't matter who's there, right? Like the fan base is not big enough.
Boo.
That's fair. I mean, I do think though that the Clippers have done a lot of PR saying that the Paul George trade was for Kawhi. Therefore, the Thunder are adjacently involved in getting Kawhi, along with this scandal. Therefore, their forfeited pick should go to Oklahoma City.
How much did the Thunder give to Aspiration there, Rylan?
Oh, we don't play in Oklahoma. We already
you also were real quick early to be like, other teams may have done this. Like, I don't know what inside info. You've been around the Thunder a lot recently. Like, do you have any inside info on? Is there an Aspiration in OKC?
To my knowledge, we don't have any aspirations in OKC, so that's going to be a left coast thing that you guys have to worry about out there.
Which team or player do you think is the most likely to also have done this? Because he was talking about Jalen Brunson as well.
I asked this in Locked On NBA Daily. I said, which NBA situation is raising your antenna the most right now? Where you're like, oh wait, this is possible that a player made this decision not based solely off of like, oh, I want to do good for this franchise. But Brunson was the other one that the Pablo Torre actually even brought up, like you said.
Yeah, Dirk and Brunson. Those are my two that I look at. Heavy. Because Brunson.
How dare you
I'm a Mavs guy, but I mean,
how dare you bring up Dirk in this moment?
Mark Cuban throwing
He has
himself
done
in the
nothing
fire.
wrong ever. His aspirations were pure.
True. Mark Cuban was throwing himself
he was ready to go.
front of Steve Ballmer as fast as possible.
Here's the statement from Mark Cuban, by the way. I'm on Team Ballmer. As much as I wish they circumvented the salary cap, first, Steve isn't that dumb. If they did try to feed Kawhi Leonard money, knowing what was at stake for him personally and his team, do you think they would have let the company go bankrupt, knowing all creditors would be visible to the world? That's what Ryland just said. They got scammed by aspiration. Don't we all get scammed by our own aspirations? Along with many others, crimes for which they pleaded guilty last week. Scammers do scammy things. They did $300 million sponsorship deal with the Clippers in 2021. That's a huge deal. The better the team does, the more value the sponsorship has. It actually makes perfect sense if they stole money from investors and want the Clippers to succeed. Why not give the stolen money to keep their best player? It's sad that Pablo Torre didn't go find out, blah, blah, blah. The idea is that the default is Ballmer is a bad guy. It's going to backfire on him. Now, I was at Summer League, and a couple of us were. We saw Mark Cuban and Steve Ballmer pretty buddy-buddy during one of those Mavs games. And so, I don't know, maybe
he was teaching him how to do it. He was teaching him how to do it.
The question I have is how does, like, let's take Mark Cuban at his word. How does that make the Clippers or Steve Ballmer look any better? How does that make Steve Ballmer look like he's a smart guy? You're not disproving that he made a bad business decision or made a bad decision here, or he's doing something untoward. It reeks of I'm a level above everybody, and it's hubris. It's you're flying too close to the sun. The sun's gonna melt those wax wings, or you're gonna fall into the ocean, and this is the comeuppance for all.
Today's episode of Locked On NBA Squad Show is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here. FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can get $5, and if your first bet wins, you can get $300 in bonus bet if that bet wins. So go check it out and see how you can use that across all kinds of different platforms. They are talking about the NFL, but they also have the NBA as well. The Clippers in the conference. Let's see, they're plus 1,300 right now. Timberwolves plus 1,200. Lakers plus 850. Rockets plus 600. Nuggets plus 550. Thunder, the favorites for sure, plus 135. Clippers, I don't know if this is going to change anything, this whole Kawhi Leonard story, but that's definitely one to watch to see if it goes down or anything, if Vegas actually thinks that this story is all going to affect the Clippers in any way. But if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app today by visiting FanDuel.com and get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet at FanDuel. Go check out all the NFL stuff as well. Great stuff for every weekend when you're getting into college football as well. So check that out at FanDuel.com. Please gamble responsibly.
I think it reeks of like Ballmer got like the Ballmer and Paul George and Kawhi. They're the victims too here. It's not like he's trying to take it off of Ballmer being this bad guy, because it is true. Like, why would they let this happen if this was something that they could have controlled and funneled money to Kawhi in a cleaner way, so to say? I think that's what Mark is going for. But I do think that to answer the next question, it is Brunson in the current NBA because like that whole free agency just felt like a recruitment visit more so than a free agency. I mean, they hired his family. They just rolled out the red carpet in that way.
That's right. York, Keep going.
It's not even the free agency. It's the extension he signed.
Also,
like the contract that he signed at the time with New York was not like, no one batted an eye and said, oh man, Jalen Brunson really took a discount to go to the Knicks. No one said that then. It's the extension he just signed. It's, oh my goodness. Because if you look at all of these top 100 lists of players, Jalen Brunson is in all of them, in the top 10. Like top that's 10 how he's revered. Yeah, that's how he's revered. I didn't know if that was out when this is being released, so I did not say that. But yes, he's in the top 10.
I leaked it.
Yes,
we got a rat in the Locked On top 100 now. Nick Angstead.
It's me.
Yeah, and it was
the first time.
But if you go look at that list of top 10 players, how many of those guys are not on max contracts? It's Jalen Brunson
and maybe Wemby.
But I mean, he can't be.
Yeah, he can't.
Like he can't.
He's on his.
The second he's allowed to be on a max, he will.
Dude might get paid $2 billion when it's all said and done. So, like, there's plenty there. But no, I firmly agree. And this is one of those things where, yeah, it could be Brunson. It could be like other things. Like anytime that a player sign, because I think the wording for the Brunson extension that Woj used at the time was unprecedented amount of savings for a team. Unprecedented amounts. Like, okay, so where are you going to make that up? And the question is, maybe he's just happy. Maybe he doesn't want it. But I got to tell you guys, I think I would choose to take $100 million extra if I had the opportunity to do so.
It's what's funny about this whole Kawhi
story. $100 extra if I could.
Danny's also going to host Locked On NBA Midnights. We're going to give him an extra show.
Let's keep those checks coming.
Locked On NBA After Dark.
And what's funny about this whole Kawhi story, though, as somebody posted this on Twitter, is that Kawhi hasn't even lived up to his actual contract, let alone like the bonus contract that maybe this fake tree company has been giving him.
It's tough. I mean, got to stay on the court. Got to play.
Kawhi has the best plan in life. Do enough to get a big contract, but don't do more than you have to.
Please get degrees.
He got his ring. He's happy.
So one of my favorite parts of the podcast that Pablo put out that just really exposed all of this, that's why we're here, was the person who had their voice modulated and talking about it that worked for Aspire.
Yeah.
And you could just sense you don't know who this person is, what they look like, or even what they sound like. But even through the voice modulation, you could tell this person is so jealous Kawhi Leonard got $28 million for doing nothing.
I mean, aren't you?
Yeah, incredibly jealous.
Good gig if you can get it.
Great.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm open right now to any fake company that wants to funnel me a couple million.
Let's go, Lock.
I'm open.
Let's go, David Lock. Let's create some fake LLCs over here.
Honestly, no. I will do ad reads on Locked On Cavs. I will do the work.
Sales is going to be booming in Oklahoma once we get some
for aspiration.
By the way, so far,
give me $1 million.
Here's our thing. We help the Clippers by doing ad reads for aspiration to prove that it's a real company. We'll do as many fake ad reads as you want on Locked On NBA.
Ballmer,
Too bad that guy's in jail now.
Just bring us in.
By the way, quick Clippers. Kawhi has 17 playoff wins and 28 million aspiration dollars in his bank account. So he is now that is a quite a return on investment over the course of these past 7 years.
I think 8 of those 17 are against the Mavericks.
Yeah, probably.
It feels like Aspire hasn't gotten quite the ROI they intended on anything recently.
Or they did.
They're just putting roots in the ground, guys. They're really just waiting to sprout and grow.
Hey, leave them alone.
Well, they did. I'd give it to the Clippers. They stayed out of the spotlight and went to the streetlights for quite some time on this story.
Okay, well, here's the other thing that just got brought up. Was it Philip that just brought this up beforehand? Did the NBA leak the new All-Star format to try and push this to the side?
Yeah,
100%. PR 101.
I have so many questions about the new All-Star format. So yes, they absolutely did.
The new All-Star format is likely to feature a round-robin tournament consisting three 8-player squads of 2 Team USA, 1 World. NBA and Players Union presented format. I can't even read it all the way straight. It doesn't really
go
make
back
sense.
to East versus West. Just
Shams,
guys,
the
play
NBA,
hard.
The NBA and Shams pushed this out so quickly it doesn't even grammatically make any sense. No. NBA and Players Union presented format to the competition committee on Wednesday, and response was positive. The 2 Team USA squads and 1 World squad will each play each other in 12-minute per quarter Ryder Cup style games. Governors, team executives, and players discussed the format positively within the competition committee. Do we care about this at all? Anybody?
Well, that was my big question. Was the quarter thing? So 12 minutes per quarter? Are they playing 48 total minutes in 3 separate games? What's going on here?
That's what it sounds like.
Because a quarter is a fourth. Do we need to remind Shams in the NBA that a quarter is a fourth? So the fourth of the game is 12 minutes.
It sounds like each team's going to play the other one once, and the top 2 teams, one of them is going to get eliminated.
For how long is the question?
For 12-minute quarter. 1 12-minute quarter, so they can keep the quarter break the same. Because the complaint last year was the timeouts were weird. So now they just play a quarter, and it's a normal timeout, and that part I get.
Who could have thought the timeouts were weird? I mean, didn't everyone love the
Mr.
honor
Beast
TNT got?
Yeah.
And Mr. Beast and Damian Lillard not being able to make
I'm still
shots,
over
who didn't love that stuff?
The people are going to be even more confused because this game's happening in the afternoon because they got the Olympics at night after NBA coverage is done.
Jeez,
that's why it's Ryder Cup style. They just wanted to lean fully into the golf, and the only people watching are going to be dads falling asleep on the couch.
Yeah,
at least it gets
those
done
that host
early.
Game night on Sunday.
Correct. Danny and Swipa on game night.
At least I'll be
game evening.
I'll be done early that day.
This still feels like the NBA is trying to rescue a dead horse. The All-Star game's done. Like, there's no need for it. Really, the only need for it is the NBA does its business and sells the playoff sponsorships during the All-Star weekend. The NBA just needs to get to the point where All-Star weekend is NBA Cup final. Give us a real game. Like, still name an All-Star team. Give the honor. Like, that matters for history and all that stuff. Give us the NBA Cup final and All-Star weekend. Let's make that a bigger event. Let's make it a big deal. You get the big national TV thing. I know Amazon Prime paid a lot for it. 2 months later, who cares? It's the NBA Cup. Or
you could just start the NBA Cup qualifications, in December instead of November.
Yeah, but the whole point is to get the November and December games more interest before it's Christmas.
And another thing that probably hasn't really worked.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about trying to fix two things because neither of them actually work. The All-Star game does not work anymore. The NBA Cup in its very brief history has not worked.
Yeah, and we've seen the NBA All-Star format change time and time again, and it's just like it doesn't matter. All the formats on paper sound fun until the game happens, and the guys don't care, and they don't play even remotely like they do in pickup in August. So it's like until the players do their part, it doesn't matter what the format is.
It was fun one time with the Elam ending.
Yeah.
But
the one time that they cared about the Elam ending,
it's not close.
Yeah. And that was honoring,
And that was because they were honoring Kobe Bryant that night. That's why it was fun, because they cared, because they wanted to play in the spirit of Kobe Bryant. That's why it was fun, not because it was the Elam ending or anything else. It was fun because of the very unfortunate circumstance that led to them wanting to honor Kobe Bryant.
They should just do away with the entire game and do the one-on-one tournament that everybody was clamoring so much for.
They won't do that either, though, because guys don't want to get embarrassed.
Yeah, 100%.
Guys don't want to do that. Guys don't want to lose.
Yeah, it's insane. They're like, okay, one person can win the dunk contest, guys. One person can win the 3-point contest. This shouldn't be this difficult to be able to compete with any sort of semblance of grace and actual competitiveness. But and yet that's what happens year in, year out.
At the end of the day, these guys want the break. The break is more important than being at the All-Star game. They don't need the marketing help anymore. In the heyday of the All-Star game was really important for marketing. It told the whole world who the important players are. Yep. They don't need to do that. Luka's in a Nike ad right now. Powell's in that Nike ad
Dallas.
Right now. All these guys have their own deals. They have their own charities that they don't show up for and do work for, apparently, and get paid for. They don't need this game anymore. And the novelty of seeing LeBron play Kevin Durant or LeBron play whoever on the East, because there's nobody in the East anymore. The novelty of that is worn off because we all have League Pass, and now there's a national TV game every single day of the week. We don't need to see these guys in special events. We can see them every single night if we really wanted to. That was different in the aughts and the 90s. Now they're everywhere. Everybody's everywhere. It's not just Jordan. It's not just the Knicks. It's not just the Lakers. Everyone is everywhere. And so the All-Star game is just archaic and unnecessary, except for the league trying to sell some business and have a little get-together and convention. Rant over.
Anybody still like the All-Star game?
No,
I mean, I aspire to like it. I would love to like it again.
This last year's All-Star game was one of the worst made-for-television events I've ever watched.
Yeah,
and I say that as somebody
4
who
years running now.
No, but like this one.
Yeah, I know. No,
this
for
one
sure.
was worse. This one was worse than anything they had done before. I mean, they gave TNT a send-off
when they're not going
5
anywhere.
months before they were done. And
they're still not done.
Those guys are still not done. Like, it's just like, what are we doing?
I mean, we're
Go
crying.
back to East versus West. And if it doesn't work, just tell the 12 best guys in each conference that they're an all-star, and it'll go on their basketball reference page, because that's really the only all-star thing anyone cares about now, is that they can say, I am an all-star. They don't want to go to insert city name here in February, even if it's the nice city. Yeah. Who wouldn't love to go to Los Angeles in February? You know where those guys would rather be? Cabo in February for 3 days. That's what they would rather do than go to Los Angeles or Miami or Atlanta or whatever city that the game is in.
The All-Star game is really for kids. So like it's not for us, us grown adults anymore. And that's unfortunate that it kind of has just transitioned into that. But I wonder if there's something that they could do, like just kind of tying it in with some NBA Cares events, or like they already do those things, but those guys are so busy that entire time that by the time the actual events and games come around, they don't have any energy left for it. They're just dead. They just want to jog up and down the court. So I wonder if they either A, reduce the number of things that they have to do, or B, make those things the primary focus rather than the actual game itself. I wonder if it might be a more valuable experience for everybody, as opposed to like, hey, let's jam pack as many things as possible into this stuff.
Can we go back to the Ballmer Kawhi story? That was the reason why the NBA brought the All-Star story into it, is to push this to the side. So can I push it back? Can I push it back to the middle?
Yeah.
Was this what Shams was talking about? This is the craziest offseason ever because the Clippers are going to have to sell the team again.
Hey, there it is. There it is. We found it. This has not been the craziest offseason in the last.
The Celtics and the Lakers both got solved this offseason.
Yeah. That's true.
Is Silver going to force out his second Clippers owner? Something to think about.
If you're the
what would David Stern have done today?
I was gonna say, yeah, if you're Adam Silver, if you were David Stern, what would you have done to the Clippers?
David Stern would have done the Joe Smith to them. He would have stripped whatever draft picks he can strip from them.
Yeah,
like
eventually. I don't think he would have done it today.
Cap,
yeah, he would have done it eventually after the investigation ends.
Yeah, David Stern would, first off, David Stern would know about it before it hit the press, and would have had Steve Ballmer in his office and give him a talking to. And I
think Ryland's right that they're not going to be able to prove anything. I think they're going to do this investigation. The NBA, right? Didn't the NBA spokesman announce that they're performing an investigation? Okay, cool, great. I don't know what your investigation is going to lead to, but it's not going to lead to. You know what, guys? We screwed this one up. Like we've got this whole system, and it's all held up by money from outside sources all over the place, and blah blah blah. And hey, we'll fix it ourselves. I don't think they're going to.
I think the investigation from the league is a CYA situation. It's going to turn up nothing, and that they're going to try and sweep it under the rug.
CYA, count your apples.
Yes, count your apples.
Exactly.
Apple time.
Do what it do.
If you're another team, like if you're the Cavs, the Thunder, the Magic, the Nuggets, the Mavs, do you care about this story?
Only if you are also partaking in this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only. I can't think like
the Cavs
right
somehow
now,
got Donovan Mitchell to stay in Cleveland and not go to New York.
They gave him as much money as they possibly could,
including under the table.
And then
yeah, I'm sure the Skims campaign that he's doing is much more fruitful for him in Cleveland than it would have been anywhere else.
I got some Skims.
It's the best underwear I've ever worn. I've had the conversation with him about how great it is.
Baby, with a locker room talk there with Danny Gunningham.
Well, there's part of me that wonders if Jokic just owns half of Sombor, Serbia right now. Like he just owns the city. And
that's just because his brothers have slowly but surely been taking it over with like
secretly
pitchforks.
There's a world where that is actually true, but I mean, we have to believe that this stuff happens around us. This is like the fact that this is coming to light shouldn't really surprise anybody. It's just that it came to light at this particular point. It's that nobody else reported it. It's that Pablo was the one to get it. And holy cow, the vociferous denial from the Clippers and from everybody else involved was very interesting. But no, it'll be fascinating to see if it actually breaks that, and like if there's something else that they find. I don't think that they will, though.
I think part of what sticks about the story is that it's Kawhi Leonard being paid to do nothing, and the perception is that he is paid to do nothing on his real job for the Clippers. And so I think like that both makes the story funny and like ironic, but also less impactful because it's not like the Clippers have won a championship. It's not like the Clippers did all these moves and it's worked out great for them. Like, yeah, they're competitive when they've historically been a non-competitive franchise, but it's not like this has dramatically changed the league in any way or changed the results in the league or compromise. Like, oh, the Clippers were able to do X, Y, and Z. And obviously like there's still knock-on effects, but the Clippers were able to do X, Y, and Z because of this. And now they have 2 titles. They're like, there's no asterisk to anything. It's the Clippers. They're just still fumbling all over themselves, even if their talent level is a little bit better.
But is this going to be, if they do just get like a little slap on the wrist or just get nothing, does this open up Pandora's box for the rest of the NBA because we're in this era of the second apron and like it's supposed to squeeze out talent from rosters. But if you look around and say, well, the Clippers, whether they meant to or not, they did this. Like that is in some ways circumventing the salary cap. Why don't we just do it too and then act like we didn't know if it ever pops up, just like the Clippers did, and we'll retain our roster even whenever there's mechanisms to make it so it can't happen. We're just going to pay you under the table.
I mean, I think that's why the Jalen Brunson stuff feels more like it feels smokier. There's more fire making the smoke with the Jalen Brunson stuff because we know his dad was an assistant coach with the team before he got there. We know that there's like all these things that just line up. And again, we don't know if this is true or not, but
like
it feels like there's all these things that line up that are just, it doesn't smell right. And then he takes a contract, a guy who was a second round pick, a guy who really had to earn everything that he got and should, maximize every bit of profit that he can get because it was never guaranteed for him to take that deal and set the Knicks up for their best team probably certainly since Patrick Ewing, but perhaps since they won their 2 titles in the 70s in this environment where you save as many pennies as you can. That smells a little fishier. And you're right. Like the precedent is dangerous here because you've got a lot of situations around the league where there's teams balking at giving their big players new contracts. Like, Nick knows what happened in Dallas. Atlanta's going through it with Trae Young right now.
With the Mavericks?
Yeah. What happened with the Mavericks?
No,
did something happen?
Just kidding.
Well, there's this one time Luka Doncic now. I'll have to get into that again.
It wasn't trees. It
wasn't trees.
It only took us 30 minutes and 45 seconds.
Hey, if I'm part of it, it's going to get brought up.
but this is like the debate that every front office is having. It's not just, the Luka thing. It's every front office is afraid to give their guys max contracts on their second or third contract because it's so hamstringing. And so there is now an incentive to do this stuff under the table. The Kawhi Leonard stuff happened before you actually needed to do all this stuff. Now there's definitely a reason if you can get away with it to do it because you're going to ask your stars to take less money than they're worth. And whether the star is willing to do that or not is going to depend whether you can keep your title window open or whether you have to trade your superstar player.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the biggest thing to me is just like if the penalty is forfeiting 1 pick or less in this mechanism of the CBA, you already have to freeze a pick if you go over a certain threshold with the second aprons and the repeater tax and stuff like that. Okay, let's give away 2 picks instead and keep everybody and try to win a championship with a great team. If we get caught, we give away another pick. Who cares?
Interesting. There's going to be more on this on Locked On Clippers. You can go listen to that. Go listen to all these great shows, Locked On Thunder, Locked On Cavs, Locked On Magic, Locked On Nuggets, Locked On Mavs. Great stuff all the time on those shows. Link in the description to find all those. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On NBA Squad Show.